Physics, week 2, not week 1 or week 3, week 2. I'm not sick this week, which is really nice. It's a plus. I still have a cough, but I'm not sick, which is nice. Super Bowl Sunday, I really don't care about either team. I'm just going to a party for the food, honestly, and the commercials. So anyway, for a summary of what we did in class on last Monday, we worked with time versus position graphs where we were analyzing an object's motion when it was speeding up. So like, I don't know what that meant at all, but you would throw a basketball up and down, and we had to analyze, the velocity of the ball as it was going up, as it was going down. We used ticker tape analysis to show the speed of the object going up and then when it was going down. So that's some of what we did in class. We picked our groups. It didn't look like a lot of people really changed tables at all, but I had talked to a couple students prior to that to try to get a group going, and so I think we'll work really well together, and I'm excited with who we have for our group, and I think our projects will go really well. A summary of what I did out of class was basically the homework. Worked with VPython the first 6 lessons. First one was a sphere, the second one was a cylinder, and then we had to make our initials out of different shapes and objects and using different coding, and it felt like a lot of computer programming almost more than physics, so that was interesting. We used Logger Pro to analyze the motion of a ball, its time versus position, and its velocity. We used Logger Pro to analyze the video and did that thing that we did in class where we clicked on the center of the ball as it moved like each time. So I think that's a pretty cool program, and that was fun to use. And then after that we were supposed to make a table in Excel, and I know how to use Excel really well, and I know the data I got from Logger Pro, but I'm not really sure. I'm a little confused on how we're supposed to be using 5/100ths of a second increments for our time, when the time that it gave me on Logger Pro was not in those time increments. So I'd like some clarification on that. I'm still not really clear on what we're supposed to do. Things I learned this week included working with code on VPython. I've done some coding before, and so different things were familiar to me. Learned how to use Logger Pro for video analysis and to analyze the motion of an object. And I also learned some of your views on the nature of science, which was kind of interesting to see people's responses to your those few paragraphs you wrote about natural misconceptions of science and having to do with theories and laws and things like that. Those are interesting to read about. Questions I have. The first question I have is how VPython has anything to do with physics. I know a lot of modern day physics uses visual programming and coding and things like that, but I thought that was more like advanced physics as opposed to beginning physics. So I'm not really sure why we're doing that so early, because it seems like we haven't even learned hardly anything about physics yet, and then to jump into doing computer programming is kind of strange. I mean, for a beginning student who has hardly any experience with physics, it seems like more of a computer programming class right now than a physics class. So my question is, how is VPython and programs like that, how are those relevant to a beginner's physics as opposed to like a more advanced physics student? Also in class you said you're going to go over the first project, and we never got around to that, so I'm not really sure what our group is supposed to be doing right now. We haven't done anything, and I didn't know like if you were assuming that we were going to be working on our project, but we never actually went over it and all the details with that, so I think a lot of us are kind of confused on that right now and not really sure what we're supposed to be doing with that, so I think that's kind of at a standstill. So it would be great to have clarification on that next class and let us know what you want us to be doing for our first project. Goals for this week would probably include getting my Excel spreadsheet figured out, talking with you and figuring out what you want with that, and try to get that cleared up. Also, learning what you want us to do for the first group project so we can get started on that.